land shows you glory, tells of who you are. It's the love of the Maker, shaping who we are. Because you hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. You hold the world inside of your hands, you can move mountains at your command. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of all the universe. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. You hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. You hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. You hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. You hold the world up, so we lift your praise up. God of glory, you are wonderful, wonderful. Christ the mighty King of all the universe. You are holy, you are powerful, powerful. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. God of all the earth. God of all the earth. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth. Lift our praises to the God of all, God of all, God of all the earth.
I spent so many summers trying to fit in, looking for some meaning in anything. I was feeling empty, Jesus, then you met me, you called my name. Burning like a fire, I just can't deny it, I found my place. Here with you, I'm right where I belong. Here with you, I'll never be alone.
When I look back, I can see your hand all over my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget, I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my hope forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown me love. God, you have only just begun. So come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. When I look back, I can see your hand all over my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget, I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my hope forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown me love. God, you have only just begun. So come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. You never left me. You always helped me. Got through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. You never left me. You always helped me. Got through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown me love. God, you have only just begun. So come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to
I'm so grateful for your patience, all the ways you carry me. You have always left a light on, so I can see. You wait for me.
I'm invited to the table. You are saving me a seat. In your house, I know I'm worthy, 'cause you died for me. You set me free.
No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home. Welcome home. No matter where I run, grace will follow. The Father's love is all I know. I never need to doubt that you want me. You are standing here saying, welcome home.
I'm so thankful for your kindness. Your forgiveness when I'm weak. With open arms I am accepted, 'cause you run to me, you cover me. I forever run toward the one who calls me home. Everything I'm longing for is in you. You have
Welcome to Church at Home, everybody.
Morning Gateway, we're stoked that you've joined us, and a special hey if it's your first time.
My special hey is hey.
Mine goes like, hey! You know,
I like
bit
it.
of that.
Yeah, that's two
There's your
special
special
hays. Is that two? Or is that one hay from each? I
It's
mean,
a 2-for-1 special
Anyway,
for new people.
extra hays.
And a regular hey.
And
if
a
you're
regular
okay with
hay.
it.
We do love meeting new people here, so let us know if it is your first Church at Home sesh in the comments with praise hands emoji
Yes.
or something else. My favorite emoji at the moment is the eyes emoji. It's like looking. It's like,
Is there a reason, or you just like it?
I don't know. It's like when somebody, it doesn't matter what somebody says, could be good, could be bad. You do like a little, like the side eye, and then they start questioning everything they've written.
It's like a power
Good.
move.
A little power move.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You can put those in if you want.
Do it. We'll question what we're saying.
And if you'd like to connect in a bit further to this amazing community, we have got so much going on around the place that you can get involved with.
Yeah.
There's life groups where people get together, small groups of people in each other's homes, and they eat awesome food, which is always a great thing. We have an active ministry where you can get moving with us in heaps of different ways. And we have an awesome youth ministry on Friday nights for young people, as well as a pumping young adults crew.
So much.
So much.
Something for every age and every stage.
Yes, speaking of which, we've also got the village hangouts for
True.
families, which is amazing. We also eat a lot of good food there too.
Is that
There
is
seems
the
to be a
village
thing.
for the kids or for the adults?
It's both.
Ooh,
It's
duo.
both. Anyway, click the link in the description to connect with us or download our app and see all the things that are happening around the place.
So keen. Loving the app this week.
Oh, it's so good.
just,
so good.
Just get involved. Give it a shot.
Yeah,
There's so
try
much.
something.
You can't go wrong. Unless you're like 12 years old trying to get into prime timers.
Yeah, you might go wrong there.
Yeah.
But they'd probably welcome
For
you.
the most part, you're safe. But hey, also, how can we pray for you this week? We do believe in the power of prayer, in getting alongside each other and supporting each other in that way. So you can get prayer via the link. You can also request a call from our prayer team. Whatever you need, we're here for you.
It's true. And we love being generous as a church too.
Yeah.
Giving is at the absolute core of who we are as a community. So let's check out one amazing Gatorite's journey towards generosity.
So I came to the Lord when I was 15. I wasn't tithing. I got a job, and the Lord started to work around that. And it took a fair bit of trust, but it came. And I grew to understand that 10% of my money, of my gross, belonged to God. And experientially, I found that it worked really well. And I gave to God what was His, and He gave back what I needed. And so the giving's been a blessing. It's not something that's been taken from me. It's one of the great gifts that God has given me in my life, to be able to tithe. Now, tithing, who do I give to? Who do I and my wife give to? We're convinced we give to the church. It's not really our responsibility what they do with it. It's God. We're giving it to God, and the church is responsible for using it in the way that God's directing them. So we just feel very comfortable. We belong to this church because we get fed and because we see other people. We see ministry that's touching many people. So that's where it's got to go. God's telling us to tithe, and we tithe to the church. We give in other ways as well, but we tithe to the church. I think everybody needs to be touched with need that they see spontaneously. You see a person in need or a situation, and without having to be told, you just say, I need to do something. Ukraine, the floods, whatever. You just give in that situation. We don't notice a difference because it's become a part of our regular finances. I mean, that's the trick, that you need. It's very hard to go from nothing to something. But if you establish a habit of giving and do what the Lord calls you to do, it just becomes a part of your budget. Your life just fits in around that stuff. God really does look after us, doesn't He? And in Australia, we're all looked after, but He just does look after things. And it's not a cost, really. It's a blessing, I think.
Such wisdom from somebody that's obviously walked with Jesus for such a long time, and we so appreciate Frank's perspective.
Yes. And over the past few weeks, Rick has put to us, the church, a challenge.
Yes.
To raise collective giving by $5,000 a week. We can do this. And over the next 12 months, not wumps.
12 months.
There's no wumps. To raise a lump sum of $250,000 to
Huge.
purchase the factory that we are filming in right now. It's so exciting, Jacob. How much
This is
amazing stuff happens in
Mr.
this
Monkey
factory.
Man, the orangutan's home.
He's very
He
excited
lives
about
here.
it. Yeah.
So,
Save his habitat.
yeah.
But look, this is such an important thing for the church, isn't it? And there's so much amazing stuff that happens from this factory,
Yeah.
and that's going to happen as well.
Yeah. Big plans.
So it's going to take all of us together, and if you're keen to be a part of this miracle, you can use the details provided or hit the heart button on our app.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we have something very special this morning. We're going to hear from Pastor Marcy Painter as she leads us through a groundbreaking. Hold on to something,
Whoa.
preferably something high, because
Okay.
it could be like the ground plus a meter. We don't know. It's going to be huge.
It's going to break.
It's a groundbreaking report that looked at what good is the faith community. Like legit, all the churches got together, from the Sikh community to the Anglicans and the Catholic Church. So much collaboration and unity, and worked out the collective value that they pour back into the community, and presented that to the council. The result was astounding. So there's so many great programs and initiatives happening all around the place.
That sounds amazing. I
It's
actually
cool.
genuinely cannot wait to watch that. But first, you have to wait just a little bit. Let's get into worship.
That's an initiative I can get behind.
I close my eyes and colors fly. There's no hiding from your grace. I can't deny your heart from mine, and it's unrelenting chase. And I was on the edge of deception, caught up in my own hesitation, until your love took over me. Whoa. So I let go and I let love show me love like it's supposed to be. An oasis, here oasis, all the freedom I'll ever need. Now I'm alive. Ooh la la, ooh la
we focus, Lord. All our attention is turned towards you this morning. Thank you, Jesus. Come on. I won't look left or right. I'll keep my eyes fixed on you. There's so much on my mind, but you bring me back to the truth. Nothing compares to you. There's nothing like your presence. I give you all my worship, all of my heart's attention. Every single day I will put away the noises around me and look into your face, 'cause nothing can replace this love that surrounds me. 'Cause this is all I need. Following your lead, I will focus on you. I have made my choice. I'm following your voice. I will focus on you. Yeah. I will focus on you. I will focus on you. Nothing compares to you. There's nothing like your presence. I give you all my worship, all of my heart's attention. Every single day I will put away the noises around me and look into your face, 'cause nothing can replace this love that surrounds me. 'Cause this is all I need. I'm following your lead. I will focus on you. I have made my choice. I'm following your voice. I will focus on you. Yeah. I will focus on you. Yes, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I will focus on you. Yeah. I will focus on you. All of our worries look small when we are standing in awe. We turn our eyes to Jesus. When we are lifting our praise, everything else fades away. We turn our eyes to Jesus. All of our worries look small when we are standing in awe. We turn our eyes to Jesus. When we are lifting our praise, everything else fades away. We turn our eyes to Jesus. This is all I need. I'm following your lead. I will focus on you. I have made my choice. I'm following your voice. I will focus on you. This is all I need. I'm following your lead. I will focus on you. And I have made my choice. I'm following your voice. I will focus on you. Yeah. I will focus on you. Oh. Come on. I will focus on you. Yeah.
Welcome to the Neighbour Impact Report for Frankston, Victoria. We are so excited to share the results of this independent social audit, a citywide survey that answers the question, what good is faith? We will hear from the local Neighbour team and civic leaders discuss how faith is indeed a force for good in this community, according to verified data. And you will gain a sense of not only what is being done, but what might be possible to achieve by churches and faith-based organisations as they cooperate for the common good in our great city of Frankston. The Neighbour Impact Report has been carried out with the full support of Frankston City Council, representing, as of 2016, a local government area of over 134,000 residents. Here is our Mayor, Chris Bolam.
Hello, my name is Chris Bolam and I'm the Mayor of Frankston City Council, and I'm very pleased to be providing an endorsement today. Frankston City is fortunate to benefit from the support and goodwill of many faith-based charities and not-for-profit organisations that undertake incredible work within our community. We have especially seen the positive impact of their outreach during this pandemic, with local churches and faith groups organising practical support such as food and other essentials for those in dire need. Our community has also benefited from faith-based mental health, outreach and other critical programs designed to reconnect residents to their communities during this difficult time. It is also wonderful to see the increasing diversity of these organisations and how this is reflective of our very growing community. Frankston City has always enjoyed a friendly and productive working relationship with local faith groups, which predates this pandemic and will continue well into the future. Thank you and take care.
The Neighbour Impact Report is sponsored by the Frankston Ministers Network. Its president, the Reverend Mark Whitby, was one of the first leaders to see the wider social value of such a report and worked with local church leaders to bring the audit to our city.
A significant scripture found in Mark's Gospel is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." And then it says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." And the second is like it, "Love your neighbour as yourself." No other commandment is greater than this. This powerful declaration, which Jesus quotes from the Jewish Torah, known as the Shema, resonates through church history as the foundation stone of his church throughout all the world. That people of faith are to love God first and foremost, and second, they are to love others. One day, Jesus was tested by one of the teachers of the law, and he was asked, "Who then is my neighbour?" Jesus answered with the parable of the Good Samaritan. It was about a man who'd been attacked by robbers and left for dead, and he received no help from the religious leaders, only from a Samaritan, who were often reviled by many in Jesus' day. In sharing this challenging picture with his audience, Jesus was describing one of the chief roles of his people, that they were to love the outcast and those that others reject. I've led the Frankston Ministers Network for many years, and it's been my privilege to oversee the churches of our city as we have endeavoured to fulfil these words, that we are called to care for the disconnected, the lost and the friendless. The church across the city of Frankston and other faith groups have loved and supported and cared for the lonely and the disenfranchised for many years, just as Jesus called us to do. This Neighbour Report is telling the story of true faith here in Frankston. I'm so thankful for the wonderful work of mercy and compassion that happens every day right across our city. The prophet Jeremiah once said, "Seek the welfare of the city where I've sent you and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare." Thank you to the Neighbour team for the hard work in preparing this report. I believe it'll help us to look at even greater ways we can care and support for our city going forward. Thank you.
As we get closer to revealing the results of the report, let's hear the National Director of Neighbour, Nick McKay, as he talks with the patron of Neighbour, Reverend Tim Costello, about the role and potential of Neighbour in Frankston and across Australia.
Thank you for joining me, and thank you for the remarkably important role that you've played in this process. We'll talk a little bit about that. You are involved in more initiatives, organisations, coalitions, campaigns than most people, and you are patron of a number of those. Why on earth did you agree to be patron of what is now Neighbour Australia, in addition to all of what you're already doing?
Yeah, so firstly, I've always seen myself as loving my neighbour and a community person. I think Christian faith at its heart is not about me. It's about others. And the secret of joy, whether you have faith or not, is actually discovering it's about others, not about yourself. So I think Neighbour picks that up, and I was very happy to be a patron of Neighbour. Secondly, as a Christian, I was really struck that the Christian church is doing so much and yet people wouldn't know. You know, I guess it's because we're seen as so different and so many different varieties. But, you know, everyone knows with football, you might have a different colours, a different club room, a different song, but everyone knows it's football. Churches have different songs, different club rooms, but people don't know the extraordinary reach, the service, the love of others that's going on, and Neighbour amplifies that.
I love what you've picked up there, and I think you're absolutely right. Indeed, one of the ways in which Neighbour is seeking to be able to tell those stories of the great work that's happening is through the Neighbour Impact Audit and that process. In your opinion, what makes the audit so valuable as a tool, as an initiative for churches in a local region to be able to participate in?
Well, we live in a society where we know if it's not measured, it doesn't matter. In some ways, I wish it wasn't that way. The truth is that churches have never been measured in terms of social impact. Churches are known for maybe their architecture or a bishop pronouncing on, or a Tim Costello pronouncing on a social issue. But churches are actually people loving and serving and giving and going way beyond themselves every day, and that's never measured. That's what this audit is about, why it's so important.
Yeah. And so then let's talk a little bit about the audit in the context of Frankston. You were the one who initially suggested that this could be a great location in which to run an audit. Why was that?
Well, I moved here about 3 years ago, and I didn't know any of the Frankston churches. And I was quite staggered after moving here to visit a number of them, and I was literally blown away by two things. One, what they were doing in the community. Two, the remarkable unity the ministers of those churches had together. You know, sometimes the clubs, you know, whether it's in football or a religious sense, can be at each other's heads. This was a sense of cooperation, genuine friendship from the leaders down. And I thought, wow, this is the perfect area to do something like this audit.
Yeah, excellent. And it has been. It's been an absolute joy to work with the diversity of the church in the region. And now here we are at the end of the process and the final report about to be released. You've been given a sneak peek. What strikes you most about the findings of the audit, the Neighbour Impact Audit that has taken place now in Frankston?
Well, I knew churches were doing a lot just from my personal visiting. I had no idea how big that footprint and impact is. You know, 25% of all residents in Frankston are being served by the churches, reached and connected with in very practical ways. That commutes to over $4 million of value, all provided by volunteers, by people who do it because they love God and they love their neighbours. And just the size of that footprint really blew me away.
That's beautiful. And where do we go from here, do you think, Tim? Because we've got these results. It's been a wonderful process, but as you know, from our perspective as Neighbour, we want this to be about more than just an audit, more than just a process. What do you think are some of the, or might be some of the next steps that we can take in order to help churches and other faith-based organisations in the region to find even better ways of loving their neighbour?
You know, we all live out of a story. Frankston has lived out of the story often of a bit of shame and laughing at Frankston and Bogans, and Melbourne knows about the needs often in Frankston. What we haven't known till now is the wave of compassion, care, community, a wave pushing back on that story that's negative, a positive story. I think the next steps are standing on the positive story, planting our feet in it. It's solid ground, this positive story, and saying, and there's even more we can do.
Amazing. Beautiful. Well, we are looking forward to that. Thank you again for the role that you've played in helping bring the Neighbour Impact Audit to Frankston. Thanks for being here today, and I can't wait to see everything that comes from these findings and the practical ways in which we can continue to serve the church, both as a whole and in its different clubs and its different forms, in order to be of greatest benefit to those in the community. So thank you once again for everything that you do, Tim, and especially for your role in this process.
A blessing. Onwards and upwards in Frankston.
And so, to the report itself. It is the result of hundreds of hours of work, compiling data contributed by dozens of local churches and faith-based organisations from across the city of Frankston. It is an exciting report that reveals an amazing social benefit in our city as a direct result of faith in action. Here again is Nick McKay.
Hi, my name's Nick McKay and I'm the National Director of Neighbour Australia. As Mark said, Jesus told us all to love our neighbour, and that's exactly what we help churches to do. One of the ways that we do this is through the Neighbour Impact Audit, which measures the collective social impact of churches and faith-based organisations in a geographic region, and it puts a financial value on the time given to serving those in need. Over the past couple of months, we've been conducting an impact audit here in Frankston in partnership with the Frankston Ministers Network, and I'm delighted to share some of the key results with you today. Let's start with the respondents to the audit survey. Over 60% of all faith-based organisations in the region. Importantly, the vast majority of respondents were churches. So most of the numbers in this report aren't the result of large organisations, but rather local communities of faith seeking to shine a light into the wider community. Next, let's look at the work itself. 53 ongoing community service activities addressing 12 of the greatest social needs in the region. According to the audit responses, the top 3 needs being met are, number 1, material assistance, like the extensive provision of food and other necessities by Connect Church, or the Anglican Parish of Long Beach's Pantry 5000 initiative. Number 2, community connection, like Frankston Forest Baptist Church, who help reach out to vulnerable people in the local community with in-home based care. And number 3, support for children and youth, like Fusion, who work on the front line to help empower and advocate for young people in the region. But there's also amazing work being done in other areas. St Francis Xavier Catholic Church puts visiting those in need at the heart of living the gospel message. Whether it's individuals who are sick in hospital, residents in aged care in need of company, or families who are doing it tough. And Gateway Church has, for over 30 years, invested in the area of health and wellbeing through its active ministry, even helping to transform the culture of sport in Frankston. So who is being reached by the community service activities of the faith community? Well, as many as 30,000 people a year, equivalent to almost a quarter of the total population of Frankston. One example that many would be aware of is the work of Sikh Volunteers Australia, who have played a critical role during the COVID-19 pandemic in delivering meals to those in need across southeast Melbourne, including more than 500 people a week in Frankston alone. Another is the David Scott School, an initiative of the Brotherhood of St Lawrence that uses an innovative applied learning model to re-engage vulnerable young people in education and prepare them for the world of work. The school may be reaching a comparatively smaller number, about 120 students a year, but the impact in the lives of those young people is nothing short of profound. And what is all of this work actually worth? Almost $4.3 million a year. That's the social impact value to the Frankston community thanks to the efforts of churches and faith-based organisations. And to be clear, this is a conservative calculation based on the time being given by staff and volunteers alone, so the actual amount is likely far more. What's even more encouraging is that the faith community isn't trying to do it alone. There are multiple cases of collaboration with local council, health services, and other organisations, both faith-based and secular. Perhaps the most powerful example is the annual Community Christmas Lunch, initially pioneered by Frankston Life to address the disconnection and loneliness experienced by many people in the city, especially during the Christmas season. Over the past 20 years, it has become a standout event in the city, bringing together the Frankston Council, RSL, local farmers, entertainers, small businesses, and up to 170 volunteers who give up their Christmas Day to love and serve others. And that's what it's all about. People of faith seeking to contribute to the peace and prosperity of their city, just as the book of Jeremiah instructs us to do. And it doesn't stop here. Over the coming months, we look forward to working with faith and civic leaders to analyse the results of the audit, identify key priorities, and find even better ways of collaborating for the benefit of those who call Frankston home. On behalf of Neighbour, I want to commend the efforts of the churches and faith-based organisations across the region and pray the greatest blessing over all that is to come.
So now we know. Faith is a verifiable force for good in the community. May this report affirm the efforts of those who seek to address the greatest social needs throughout the Frankston region. May it inspire new partnerships and initiatives as we recognise the vision we share to see our local community flourish. And above all, may it lead to even more efforts to love our neighbour, providing genuine hope and new life to those who need it most.
Turning over tables and calling for return to our lives upon the altar, the things we did at first. You're clearing out the temple and cleaning out the dirt, for we are your territory, Lord, we are your church. We are your people, you are our God. We are your temple, make us holy like you are. See a holy nation, a flock to consecrate, a chosen generation, a people called to pray. So help us, God, to please you where only you can see. For every moment matters in eternity. We are your people, and you are our God. We are your temple, make us holy like you are. We are your children, you set us apart. And God, for your glory, We're not walking, we're running. God, we need resurrender. So we resurrender. If you're calling, we're coming. We're not walking, we're running. God, we need resurrender. So we resurrender. If you're calling, we're coming. We're not walking, we're running. God, we need resurrender. So we resurrender. If you're calling, we're coming. We're not walking, we're running. God, we need resurrender. So we resurrender. Oh, we resurrender. And we are your people, and you are our God. We are your temple, make us holy like you are. We are your children, you set us apart. And God, for your glory, make us holy. If you're calling, we're coming. We're not walking, we're running. And God, we need resurrender. So we resurrender. If you're calling, we're coming. We're not walking, we're running. God, we need resurrender. So we resurrender.
How awesome was that? So fascinating. There is so much good being done in the name of faith. Super proud to be a part of the faith community watching that.
I know, so amazing. And I love how Mark Whitby reminded us that this is what Jesus did. You
Yeah.
know, this is what he modeled, is caring for the lonely and the disenfranchised. And how incredible was that stat that 25% of all residents are being reached and served through the various faith communities.
That is huge.
It's insane.
Yeah. And the flow on from this report is also really encouraging. The ideas that are coming out of it around how to really meet the needs of the community are massive. Actually, here is one new program that we are starting very soon. Let's check it out now.
So Sally, you've been really busy during COVID looking after lots of people, but you've found time to be involved in a new ministry. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it has been a busy season, Rick, but it's very exciting. I think that we are going to run a winter night shelter over the 3 months of winter to help sleep the homeless who do it rough, particularly through the winter months. So there's 3 churches particularly involved with homing the homeless. So it will be Gateway, Peninsula City Church, who initiated it, and they're sort of heading it up, and also St Anne's. So it's not just us, it's a shared project for the Frankston community.
So, how does that work?
Yeah, look, it's really exciting because we're doing it with other churches, we don't have to sleep people every night. So we will take one night, Peninsula City Church is going to take 2 nights, and St Anne's 2 nights. So we would have liked to have done 7 nights, but at the moment, being the pilot program, we're just going to start it simple. And so we will feed them dinner, they'll bus in, feed them dinner, sleep in dormitory style. So they'll sleep here, and we'll have people here looking after them overnight. Playing games with them, talking with them, just helping them through any sort of crisis they might be going through. And then we'll feed them breakfast in the morning and bus them back so that they're not sort of stuck in Seaford.
So this is a free service. How do people actually connect in with the Winter Night Shelter?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is a free service. So there's an organisation in Frankston that are really in the know of those that are doing it rough and are homeless in Frankston. And so they will be screening those that need a place to sleep, and they will be giving us and recommending us the names. So it'll be those that are wanting to be protected overnight and somewhere warm and safe to sleep. And so we're going to house them over in our active building. And that's a safe, uncomplicated building. It's got showers, it's got toilets, and we can work out cooking arrangements for breakfast and dinner. So it's such a blessing to have this space that we can use during the week for our Frankston and Seaford community.
So Sally, who's helping to actually staff this shelter? Is it like a government agency or?
Yeah, no, it's not staffed by government or even funded by government. It's purely by the churches in the Frankston community. So like I said, there's only 3 that are so far going to be housing or homing them during winter, but many churches are providing volunteers. We'd love volunteers from our own church and many other churches, but also not just churches, Rick. The local community are also hopping on board and providing.
So like Rotary and those sorts of people?
Rotary and Avis have offered to rent us a bus at half price.
Okay.
So, which is really great that other communities and businesses are hopping on board and willing to provide as well. So we're going to need a variety of volunteers, not just to be here overnight, but also to provide meals, to provide washing of the linen, and a lot of different roles.
And set up and pack up.
Set
those
up
sorts
and
of
pack
things.
up, great. Yeah.
So Sally, that is an amazing ministry. Now, like in all the 20 years you've been a pastor in this city, have you ever seen churches cooperate to do something like this?
Not to my knowledge, Rick, and that's why I'm really excited about it. There's a lot of welfare things happening within Frankston, and a lot of places where people can get food and etc. But I've never known any place where it's provided a shelter overnight for the homeless, and I'm particularly proud of our community and our churches that this is Christian based and church based. So I just think that, people often ask us what happens within the community. Well, how hard it is for those that are doing it tough within the community. And I guess we can't do everything, Rick.
No.
But we can do something. And so this is our something that I
It's
think.
an important mission, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I am so excited about this. This is huge and amazing, and just another amazing thing that's happening in this factory.
Yeah.
Another reason to get on board with giving. And if you would like to volunteer or be a part of this in some way, there's an info session happening at our Seaford campus next Sunday. So jump on the app and go to the events section to find out the dates, or you can email care@gateway.asn.au, and everyone's welcome.
I like it. Just beep, boop, beep, boop, find it there.
That's right.
Yeah, I did try to get on the app sounds so that when you did press buttons, it went beep, boop, beep, boop, boop.
Do you just make
Didn't
your
go
own sounds
far.
now?
Didn't go far. Don't worry, won't make any sounds. But what a session today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, everyone. Hopefully you feel inspired to get out in the community and to meet a need.
Agreed. And we will see you all next Sunday, 10 a.m. for Church at Home.
See you soon.
When I look back, I can see your hand all over my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget, I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my hope for always helped me. Got through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. You never left me. You always helped me.